giving a talk tonight at RAM. I should probably write something. I'm speaking tonight on my creative journey, and I'm not really sure what's the best way to do it, because I think the audience is going to be a little bit older. Alright, I figured it out. I got a good process. Now I just gotta create those slides. Oh yeah, put that like right there. You know what? Like that. We need some music.
Why don't you know who I represent? I don't know who let you represent. We be the future, get used to it. Cause I don't really like to reminisce. Johnny Storm, I'm coming in. St. John on the covenant. Put the boat up on the back.
See where the horse kicked me?
I'ma go be small. Yeah, kick it both feet though. Yeah, y'all got veto. Yeah, blood like seafall. Yeah, good law, sweet law. Yeah, cape like hero. Yeah, double M zeros. Yeah, double M zeros. Yeah.
Alright, just put the final touches on it. I just need to wait until it's nighttime, and then I can present. So. I thought it was gonna be a lot darker than that. I guess I have no idea when the time changes. I gotta get ready for this. I'm gonna be late for a very important date.
Take it easy though, you look queasy though. Boy, could you imagine? For real, all for the king, they finna sing. They don't want blood, let's get it cracking. Big talk, I can see you acting. You know it, this ain't Hollywood. Come on, so next time won't you at me? Yeah, I'ma go be small.
Camera. Frickleberry.
Yeah, blood like seafall. Yeah, good law, sweet law. Yeah, cape like hero. Yeah, double M zeros. Yeah, double M zeros. Yeah, please don't try me. A lot of y'all move so grimy. I'm glad God made me a new man. Cause I don't wanna talk, I wanna throw hands. And I ain't really in it for the business. I'ma rap like I had no fans. I feel like I got no competition. I swear I don't fear no man. I got beef with the dog, can I see where you are with the evil at heart? So I'm leading the art, don't believe in the bar, but I'm leaving the bars that they need to.
Hello, is this for Art Alliance?
Yes, do you need an easel?
I do, yes.
This will be new for us, so we're all excited to hear what Jim has to say.
That's fine. So first of all, yes, I am wearing an AirPod. I'm not listening to music. I'm just recording my own voice, so that way I can get better at speaking. I'll do this. I'm really excited to speak in front of mostly you ladies, all right? I am married to an older woman by 6 months, so I'm used to this, all right? Let's do this. Okay, so I am from Riverside, California. This is my home. This is my area. Let's do it! I'm from here, all right? Homegrown. My wife works for the school district. She is my hero. She is a speech pathologist, and she's absolutely crushing it. So we're very excited. She just finished grad school. So yeah, come on, clap it up for Kelsey. Come on. And as the husband, I supported her through that. So we got that going. But yes. Exactly. Yeah, I don't have to do anything. No. I grew up around here, but I did not. I was not drawn to art in the beginning. I grew up playing soccer. Soccer is going to be a common theme throughout this. I grew up playing soccer with my older brother and younger brother as well. But it wasn't until the end of high school when I had to take art classes that I began to start to explore art as a separate outlet. Because up until that point, my creative expression came out on the field, and then around senior year, I sprained my ankle and I didn't really play. So I wasn't playing on the field, and I also wasn't amazing. I'm not like a phenomenal athlete. I'm 5'9", I'm about as average as it gets. But in the art classroom, I was able to really focus and really dial into that. So I started drawing a ton in class, when I wasn't supposed to in class, outside of class, and I decided it was just a chance for me to fully engage with the material. Before that, I wasn't really connecting in the classroom. I was the kid who would stand up, walk around, and make jokes and run around. But in art class, I just stayed in my seat, and it was amazing. I didn't think that you could make a career from art. I honestly had no idea that you could study art. I didn't know that you could make money from art. So I decided to pursue my other passion, which is Christianity. I love the Lord, and I wanted to become a pastor. So I went to CBU, and I was studying the Bachelor of Applied Theology. It's like a pre-seminary, seminary type of deal. And over that first year, I realized I don't want to be a pastor. Being a pastor is more than a full-time gig. There's so much that goes into it, and I decided that was not for me. So in between that summer, I realized, I still love the church, and my wife and I are very involved with the Grove Community Church. But I wanted to start engaging back with the things that I found passionate in the classroom. So I started studying art again, and one of my professors mentioned, you can major in this, and I was like, there's no way that you can major in this. So that's what I did. I majored in art. I had no idea what I was going to do to make money. Kels was asking me, like, so what's the deal? What's the plan? What's the plan with art? And I had no concept. I didn't know what you could do. Right now, it's still very hard for my wife to say what it is that I do every single day. It's not an easy thing for her to say, like, this is what Jeff does every single day. I make my money in loads of different ways, but it's all around art. I'm a full-time artist. My studio is across the street from Agi's. I have 3 or 4 people that work for me at any given time, and it's all full-time art. So this right here is Gary Vaynerchuk. I want to see if the volume is not working on this. We'll just skip this slide. It's not a big deal. So let's see if you.
There are 7,000 artists that want to see that thing.
Yeah. Frick! I'm sorry. There's bad audio. It'll be linked in the bottom below. It's just a video that I did with Matt Wolf for a mural for Gary Vaynerchuk. On to the next. On to the next. Frick, I keep missing it!
The New York Times best-selling author, you saw it in the video. He does a lot on social media, and what I realized very quickly was, even though I love Riverside, California, if I would like to make a living, in this field, I need to get out of this city, metaphorically, right? I need to be able to travel. But I found myself in this position where I'm putting down roots. My wife and I have been married for almost 6 years in June, and we'd like to start a family soon. We love the community we have here. What is our way out? Figuratively speaking, what is my way out? And that is through social media. And so what I'm talking about tonight is creating art as an artist in 2019. And it might be a different model than what you think is right, but I'm not really operating on what tradition is, because I'm trying to make a living, I'm trying to support my wife, I'm trying to make this happen, and I'm scratching for whatever that means. So some of those things might mean that I have to paint a mural in New York for a guy for free, but what that does with that exposure is that I'm able to leverage that to make connections with corporations like Adidas, Facebook, Starbucks, Coca-Cola. It all begins with small interactions, and then you cultivate those relationships. This is a project I did for the World Cup with Adidas. We created assets for the United States. We sent these to influencers. If you don't know what an influencer is, it's basically someone who has a lot of Instagram followers and can make you buy something, theoretically. So we sent these to a lot of, that's just new wave marketing. Sent these to a lot of them. There was collateral for their marketing. This was a really fun project. The next one. This is a mural I did for Coca-Cola. They reached out to me. They needed a California artist. This is crazy because they said, all right, we want you to do an illustration. And I was like, all right, cool, we'll do that. And then a week later they said, and we need a mural by next week. And it has to be in downtown LA. I'm like, okay, sure. So I called up my friend Terry, and we found this wall, and we made it happen. We did it in a week, and we just sent it. So, this is very much how it works in the art world. You just have to say, okay, sure, and then do it.
Where is that wall?
This wall is what is the name of it? It's on Venice Boulevard, but it's not in Venice. It's in, what is this? Culver City. There we go. It has to be close. I mean, it's technically downtown LA, right? It's close. It's close enough. It's closer than here. It's downtown LA here, all right? We're in the greater Los Angeles area all the time. Going back to art class. So here. Okay, so here's some of my influences. Shel Silverstein is what really started me on this. And I love his work. They say that carrots are good for your eyes. They swear that they improve your sight. But I'm seeing worse than I did last night. You think maybe I ain't using them right. It was this cheekiness that drew me to art. I hope that you understand by the end of this that I love people more than I love art, and that the connections that I'm making through art are just what I've chosen in my life. That's a vehicle for me to connect with other people. Soccer, for me, is that. It's the global language. Whenever I travel, if you have a ball, you can make 20 friends, no problem. You don't have to speak the language. You can be in Thailand, you just roll the ball down the street, you got 20 friends. You can be in Santiago, Chile, roll the ball down the street, and someone's gonna try and make you. It's really that simple. Here's some of my artist influences. This is a Spanish artist, his name's Aryz, A-R-Y-Z. He does very, very large murals. I don't know if you can see, I mean, this is like 4 stories high by 50 feet. I mean, it's massive. His signature in the top right, that's probably like 5 by 8 feet. I mean, it's just a massive scale. And this is what drew me into making very large work. And I found as a side note that you don't have to be, like, this is just very candid, you don't have to be very good. As long as you do something really big, people will be like, wow, you're amazing. So, if you're trying to make it, no joke, just buy the biggest thing you can and paint that, okay? Paint any huge wall, do it. I mean, look at Jeff Koons. I mean, his stuff is great, but there's something about the magnitude of those balloon animals. They're so simple, but at the same time, they're huge. And I'm saying his genius is on the magnitude, because his other stuff nobody really cares about, because it gets really weird. My freshman year of college, decided to switch from being a bat major to art, started creating a lot of murals, unsanctioned murals, if you will. I'm not doing it anymore. My wife challenged me. She said, you know what, you're helping out with the youth group. You probably shouldn't be painting things at night. I'm like, baby, you're right, but I'm an artist. And she's like, well, why don't you try and make money with it? So she won that one, and it was a great encouragement, because I was really hiding behind that. I was hiding behind this rebellious nature, and I think that's what a lot of teenage and younger men do, is that they hide behind that bravado instead of owning up to, like, okay, this is the reality. This is how the world works. You shouldn't be breaking the law. Like, that is not something that you should do. So I had to figure that out. I started painting a lot more. I mean, it got to the point where I was convincing my professors to let me write papers on the murals that I was doing. I was just so driven. Like, I need to do this. I need to get out there. I need to make sure that my work is being seen. And I was sharing it all online. I was putting it out there. Let's see, can we run this from over here? Can we do this? Because my phone is being dumb, and I would rather have we're gonna go on the fly, all right? All right, bear with me, ladies. We got this. We're going from here. Yeah. All right. It's just waves. It's gonna be way more fluid, all right? You guys are gonna be so excited. Here we go. All right, so social media. Social media is the way out. This is what I was talking about earlier, that in Riverside, California, the best way to transcend this area while still living here, because I fully will back living in Riverside, California as an artist community, because your overhead is significantly lower than any space in LA, any space in New York, any space in Portland. I mean, it is, my studio is it's gigantic for a studio, like an art studio, and the rent that I'm paying on it is so cheap. So I'm really being business savvy in staying in this area, and we have access to 4 different airports. I mean, we can fly out of John Wayne, we can fly out of Burbank, we can fly out of LAX, Ontario, go down to San Diego. It doesn't matter. So I'm able to jump on a plane for really, really cheap. I mean, this is a really ideal area. When I was beginning, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be the one who shares everything they're doing on social media. I didn't want to be self-centered and just going for, like, just showing only my work. But it wasn't until my friend Bradley, and you see here, it's his name's Tri Davis. He took a photo of one of my early works, and he posted it. I said it was okay, but up until this point, I wasn't sharing any of the work I was making online. And I was looking at it later, and it's a total of 8 people who like this, all right? This is not like a successful post by any means. I mean, Instagram's been around for like 8 months at this point, but it was 8 likes. One of them is my future wife, my wife, like 3 of them are my best friends, and then I'm looking at, there's 4 people that I don't know, and 2 of them are in Brazil. So when's the last time somebody from Brazil liked your work, right? I mean, you just think about it, like we get so wrapped up in likes. Just think about this for a second. In 2019, somebody in Brazil is looking at my work. And I will touch on this later, how this concept of an audience is an audience no matter how small. And as we do this 52-week project, right, like we can get bogged down by the numbers and showing it to people, but I mean, this is a room of probably 40-ish people. This is a good-sized audience. If I get 40 likes on my next post, people will be like, that didn't really work. But I'm speaking to 40 people no matter what. As I created more, I was reaching out to more companies, built some relationships, reached out to Facebook, and pitched them on the idea of creating like a Shel Silverstein-esque coloring book type of deal in their stairwell at one of their LA offices. And they were like, sick, let's go for it. And so I was able to create that. Fresh on the cash from that, I went to Brazil for the World Cup. I don't know how my wife let me do this. She's an amazing woman. She let me go to the World Cup as a very recently newlywed. But she knew like this was an amazing opportunity. If you love soccer and you didn't go to the World Cup when you had a chance in Brazil, I mean, do you even like the game? No, you don't. So we went, this is us in the Maracanã, and it was an amazing time. And what I learned there was that soccer wasn't just a sport in Brazil. Soccer is a religion, soccer is what you eat for breakfast, soccer is pão de queijo, I mean, soccer is everything. So, coming back from that, I was thinking, why am I not creating around soccer? Why have I separated these things in my life? Why have I done art over here, soccer over here, Christianity over here? Like everything was like segmented. So then I thought, let's just combine it all. Let's just do one. It's gonna be easier to share online myself, who I am as a person, what my interests are, and creating around that. So I started doing that. I started creating around football because, I mean, this blockhead, this is me on the Gray Rattlesnakes. Soccer's just been something that's been a part of my life forever. And I was creating more and more work, and this new team for the Major League Soccer came to LA in 2016. It's called LAFC. So we have LA Galaxy. We don't like LA Galaxy. We like LAFC. So I reached out to LAFC, and they're a new team. I found his contact on LinkedIn. I emailed him and I said, hey, I'd love to paint a mural for you. And he said, your work's cool? How'd you get this email? So because the team didn't even have, like, they didn't sign any players, they didn't even have a coach, they didn't have anything. They just had a hat. They just had this hat. They literally had this hat. That's it. That was their whole marketing. But I was like, I want to paint a mural for you guys. And so we did. So I painted a mural, and I painted this mural for them. And LAFC is a new team in Major League Soccer. So when I painted this, 5 days later, Marcus, the creative director, calls me, and he sounds so upset, like somebody popped all of his balloons. Galaxy had tagged over the mural, so it only was was available for 5 days. Okay, you guys are crying with me. This is the response my mom had. I was like, Mom, because when it happened, I just had this immense piece of like, this is going to work. And sure enough, it did. It created some buzz, and I was on some soccer blogs, and then I started to get some traction. Next time I went to LAFC's office, they were like, you're my boy. I mean, they were nice to me before, but when your boy gets jumped, right, you gotta rally behind him. You gotta make sure he's okay. So I was the hero walking back into the office. We did end up painting the mural again, but it did get tagged over. But through that, I was able to leverage that into working with Adidas. So a company like Adidas, they don't want to take a risk. They want to position themselves as a forward-thinking company, but at the end of the day, the art director's job is to make sure she does not screw up. So she wants to feel successful in her role. It's that simple. Like, you want to be good at working with companies, learn how to speak into their worries, their fears, like solidify what they need, really connect with that person. And I was able to say, like, this is what I did for LAFC. LAFC is a brand under Adidas, right? They sponsor them. So she was able to justify, okay, you worked with Adidas before, why don't you do this 120-foot mural in New York that's 20 feet high? My wife is in this photo, you just can't see her. Right here. She hated us. She was taking the tape off and it was like 40 degrees. That's like the only time she's helped me with the mural, because I flew her out on the back end of the trip. And I was like, I need you to take tape off because we gotta go to Central Park. We gotta get this trip started. And her fingers are numb. But I kept her in there because, one, she's never able to be at the stuff I paint, but it's also a cool aspect ratio, right? Or scale. So I painted this mural. While I was doing this mural, Adidas hit me up again. They said, okay, we have an event in LA. Like, I'm literally painting on the phone. I'm painting for you guys. Like, I'm already doing something. And they're like, we need something by Wednesday. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I go inside and then create this, sell it to them. This is for their LA event that they have, like, literally the Friday I get home. And then just goes this incredible run of so many projects for Adidas. This was another thing that we did with LAFC. It's a ton of the same image. You're not like seeing quadruple and it's not mess up. What happens though, as you start to do more work, is that brands pay you for what you've already done. So you start to become a caricature of yourself. You start to do the same exact thing over and over and over and over, because like I was saying before, they want to feel successful. They want to see that worked, we'll do it in red. Like, we'll just do that. So in order to get out of that cycle, you need to start pitching things away from it, right? Because you have this cycle that just leads to the trash can. So I've been wanting to do this project for the World Cup. So I just did this quick sketch, and I took a risk. I took this photo, and I sent it to my art director friend, Ellie, and I said, do you like this? This is kind of a new direction that I'm heading. And she said, yeah, we love it. We actually have a project coming up. And this text right here led to her texting me back at like 6 a.m. saying, would you like to be, I'll look for you. Would you like to do something for the World Cup? And I'm like, of course I want to do something for the World Cup. I was creating this as a sketch for this series. This is one of the paintings from it. The paintings themselves don't make me any money. People ask me all the time, so you must sell paintings, right? You're a painter. No. Selling paintings is so freaking hard, okay? It is so hard. It's so hard. Nobody has $3 grand lying around just to drop on a painting that they fell in love with on Instagram, okay? It's not gonna happen. It just doesn't happen. But they will drop that kind of cash on something that lives in their office, like a mural, custom design for them. So it's this weird game that you have to play as an artist. You have to balance creating new work in order to get new work that you actually want to do, or else you'll be stuck in this spin cycle doing the same stuff that you've already done. And then by the time the rest of culture catches up, you're literally time stamping your work. Every time that I work with Adidas or a company like Starbucks, okay, that's 2017, that's 2018. They don't want to do what they did in 2017. They don't want to do what they did in 2018. So you have to be ahead of that. And I do like that challenge, and it can be a little bit annoying that I feel like, okay, I have to reinvent myself. But I think it's an authentic process that if you look at artists over time, they were already doing that. And I don't view myself so much as a fine artist. I'm really more of a commercial artist, for sure. And I do fine art on the side, but the fine art is a catalyst for all of my commercial work. So now I pitch brands a lot. I pitch them on what I'd like to do. I'd like to design kits or jerseys. I'd like to come up with campaigns for the season, which is this team right here, which is going to be in MLS pretty soon. This is for Sac Republic. You just, I don't know, there was this stigma when I was in school that you can't ask for what you want, that you have to do the good work and then it'll be given to you. But I really disagree with that. It just doesn't work that way. If you create something like this, nobody's gonna text you and be like, can you do something for the World Cup? You have to show it to the right person. I used to do a lot of animal heads on characters, and now I went away from that because I thought art directors wanted more realistic people. But as I started showing them some of my older work, but it was fresh to them, they're like, we want that. So now I'm going back on this cycle of things that I already liked doing, but it's fresh to them at this point. And I'm exploring new things and just having a lot of fun with what I'm doing. I mean, my personality is more so like, I want to connect with people, and so I'm sharing more things online in a way that will give me the kind of work that I want. I don't really want to do one-off illustrations all the time. Like, I want to be interacting with people. So 2019, what does that look like? I'm gonna go over. We're at 7. So that's like part 1 of my talk. I can stop there if you guys want. No, we'll keep going. Okay. All right, we're gonna do this. All right, ladies, let's do this. So that's like my journey, where I'm at right now, and I want to just go through some quick things of what it looks like, just as tips for you guys as artists, and just to see what my thought process is. Maybe this will be helpful for yourself. So number 1, you have to share the work online. This is a reality, ladies. Let's do this, okay? We share the work online. This is how we build an audience. These are my 3-step process. Here we go. You make cool work, you show it to cool people, you meet new people, and then you die, okay? You do that forever. You do that forever. You make cool work, you show it to cool people, and you meet new people, show them that, make new work. Like you just keep going. So this is what I view your online presence as. When you're making new work, you share it to the existing audience you have. That's your core audience. Those are the people that already care about your work. You show it to them. But then on the side, you're researching who are people that if they knew your work, they would unlock something for you. I don't know what your guys' ambitions are, but for me, I can speak in terms of commercials, not commercial, like more commercial art, more opportunities for myself, opportunities to travel. So it looks like this. I really want to do work in the Middle East. The World Cup is going to be in Qatar in 2022. I need to be in that region. Dubai is kind of the crown jewel of that region, right? So I did some research on Dubai. I saw that in Dubai, the people who would realistically hire me is called the Dubai Sports Council. And it turns out they're on LinkedIn. So I found the guy on LinkedIn who I need to talk to. I sent him a DM on Instagram, and he responded. That was his worst mistake. So then, because it gave me that hope. So then I said, are you going to be around end of January? I'm coming to Dubai. And he's like, yeah, sure, we can meet up. So then I booked my ticket to Dubai, and I was there. I was there in February, meeting with him, seeing if this is something that's feasible. And this is my thought process. If somebody says, hey, you can meet with me, they're just a person who hasn't seen my work yet. My mom always said that when I was on the playground, there's no strangers. It was just people like friends I hadn't met yet. It's just people that if they knew me, they would like me. If they saw my work, they would accept it. You can look at people, I mean, I'm speaking from the commercial sense. If you look at companies that have used work that's similar to your work, you can use this logic that the reason they went with that person was because they didn't know you. So you build a relationship with the gatekeeper or whoever it is, and you do it in a 2019 way, which is your DM. And the equivalent of this to me is Van Gogh and Walt Whitman. So, hey, listen, I'm gonna bring it right now. You guys are ready? You ready for this? Okay, so Van Gogh is the opposite. Van Gogh doesn't do it. Van Gogh, yes, I understand he gets very famous later on, but the homie cut off his ear. Something's not right. Like, something, and we don't know what's wrong with him, but I guarantee the fact that nobody's buying anything that you're doing all day, every day, has got to drive you insane. That's terrible. I mean, the existence, it's just so, I mean, his half-brother or whoever, Theo, is the worst art dealer ever until later, but I mean, he's going insane. He's not showing his work to anyone. He's making amazing work, not showing it to anyone. He is not allowing himself to be seen. Walt Whitman, on the other hand, he writes a book of poetry. He writes Leaves of Grass. He self-publishes it. It doesn't do very well. But he sends a copy to Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Ralph Waldo Emerson sends him back a note saying, I greet you at the beginning of a great career. I think he's just being nice. So Walt Whitman takes that and puts it and creates the blurb on the book. He reprints it with, I greet you at the beginning of a great career with Ralph Waldo Emerson. It becomes a bestseller, and that kickstarts his career. You see the difference. It's not just creating the great work, and these are amazing artists, both of them, but one of them has the gumption to send it to the person that could actually unlock something, and has the audacity to actually go through with it. So let's be Whitmans, all right? An audience is an audience, no matter how small. I mean, Keith Haring is a similar concept. Keith Haring, this is reinforcing the Riverside mentality. Keith Haring is from a small town, I believe it's in Ohio. I could be wrong. The middle of the United. What? There you go. Perfect. Middle of the United States. It's really muddy for me. I'm sorry. I'm California. I know California, New York. That's what I got. It's from Pennsylvania, small town. He moves to New York. He has to meet Andy Warhol. He has to meet Jean-Michel Basquiat in order to move on. It's just not the case anymore. We don't have to meet the people by being only in the city. This can be done online. You can build a relationship with that person. I still do believe that you need to meet these people in real life, that you need to take that from online into shaking their hand, but that the steps to doing that are very, very simple. This is going back to Van Gogh. It says, no one is listening. Cool, break down the door. I mean, if you're making this work and you believe in it, there's gonna be other people that believe in it too. You just have to find those right people, and it takes persistence in doing so. Quick story on Mark Twain. Mark Twain is writing for I believe it's the San Francisco Chronicle. He hates it. Like he's terrible at it because he's writing fiction in a nonfiction newspaper. He's just bored. So he's writing fiction stories in the newspaper, and he hates it. But the first cruise liner to go from San Francisco to Hawaii is leaving, and he pitches his editor, like, please, can I go? Pay for my trip, and I'll write about it. It'll be amazing. The newspaper says no. A year later, they're going on the second trip. Mark Twain believes, like, please let me go on this trip. They're like, all right, cool. So he goes to Hawaii, and he's there. Off the coast of Chile, because of the currents, off the coast of Chile, the USS Hornet sinks. It sinks. And there's this crazy story of the survivors having to eat each other to survive, and the current pushes them to the island that Mark Twain is on. Mark Twain writes about this story. When he gets back to San Francisco, this is the story that kickstarts his speaking career. His speaking career then kickstarts his writing career. It's these, if he had given up on I didn't get the first maiden voyage, like it's already been done, it's already been written. I really don't believe that we would have Mark Twain. It takes a crazy, I mean, that's very serendipitous. I'm not saying that you're gonna get a bunch of cannibalized stories, you know, you're not gonna get that lucky, but you gotta buy the ticket to take the ride, okay? And here's my current ambitions. This is me and my wife in front of a Keith Haring painting at the Broad. I'd like to take a team, this is my team that works with me, and we'd like to create content. And as I'll get out of your way in just a second. I'm doing a lot of traveling. I just got back from Boston. I'm going to New York next week. I've already been to Portland, Dubai, I'm blanking, Boston, Chicago. I mean, just this year, where else? It's just too much. It's way too much. It's like really annoying. It's getting to the point where my wife is okay with it, but I'm not okay with it anymore. Like I want to be at home. I want to be in the city. I want to be here. I want to focus on the work. So my ambitions are, over these next few years, I'm probably going to travel a little bit more. And this sounds backwards. Like, what? You just said you don't want to travel. Meeting the right people and then reinvesting in those relationships to then allow so that when my children are 2, 3, that daddy's home, you know, like he's here, he's present. Because that was very important for me, that my father was able to be home every single night. But the way that I have to do this is I have to then leverage these commercial relationships to build a larger audience that I'm catering to. So in order to do that, this is just like in the brain of somebody who's trying to figure out social media, even as himself. The way that I've found that my marketing can be higher is by doing funny videos like this. This seems so random. You guys are like, what just happened? What just happened? Like, what is going on? So if you look at my numbers on Instagram, I have almost 20,000 people following me. When I post something that I have spent weeks on, I'll get like 3% of the people. Good job. Ooh. Great, thank you. I spent weeks on it. I post this, and I'll get like 12%. I'll get more than 4 times the engagement. On my average stuff will get around 1,000 views. This will get 8,000 by the end of the week because people like to see weird things like this online. And that sounds like, what are you doing? You should be serious about this. You should be showing your work, and I am. So if you go to my Instagram, I am showing the work. But this is a marketing tool to kickstart that. This is the same way that I thought about working with Gary Vaynerchuk, the same way that I thought about working with Adidas. This is how you get more eyes on your work, you get more people to see it. I'm also sharing more of my thought process, and this is a short video.
Our second major lab, and I wanted to talk about the reason we're doing it.
I promise, it just goes through more montage of that. But the video is longer online, and you can see it. But that's a new channel. It's called Instagram TV, IGTV, and it's a new channel that I'm utilizing to get more eyes on the work. I'm not staying still. If I want to grow, if I want more eyes on the work, then I have to adapt to what the current state of the times are. And I feel like I'm always trying to be on the forefront of what's next, what's next, what's next. And for me, I'm doing all this at the same time I'm making work. And the only way that I'm able to do that is by just the sheer discipline of being able to make the stuff day in and day out. And I thought about this the other day. I was journaling that in order to get good, I think you have to give yourself the permission to be really bad at it in the beginning. I really believe that. Like, that really resonates, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do more video work, and I have to film myself more, and I'm not great on camera yet. I say all right a lot. I say quite a bit. And that's just a tick I have. I also will, when I start a video, I will close my right eye just a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I do it. And I'm trying to get better at that. But I'm giving myself permission to be really bad at it in the beginning. Because I know in a year after doing it, it'll be the exact same thing that happened when I was doing art, when I was doing sketching, when I was starting out writing. That it starts to slowly get better. And I see most of my contemporaries, and especially the younger generation, as I'm working with high school students, they get so bogged down because we're so saturated with what is good. I believe it's a curse on us right now that we know what is phenomenal work. If you think back to Van Gogh's time, he's a bad example, Walt Whitman's time, they are able to see every so often what is good. Yet they have those big gallery shows, they have the big collections, but that's like once every 3 months. I can look on Instagram right now at the people I want to be, and it can start to wear at me. Why didn't I get that opportunity? Why don't I have that chance? Why am I not doing this? And I found that the younger generation is so paranoid by that. And for me, I take it with a grain of salt. I'm inspired by what my contemporaries are doing, but I'm also realizing God has blessed me where I am at, and I have the chance to do my own work. Can't wait for the paint to dry. Just gotta keep moving. You gotta keep grinding, and that's all I have for you. Thank you guys so much. I have stickers. I'll put them over there. I don't know if you ladies are into the sticker thing, but if you are, there can go more.
I did it. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. It was a good talk. I mean, I felt good. I felt good on stage. I felt energized. I was a little flustered that the laptop presentation wasn't working, and so there's gonna be a lot of this range right here, but whatever, gotta make it work. I'd love to public speak more, and I'm comfortable in all situations, so it was fun. It was a good time, but I'm tired and want to go hang out with my wife. I'm gonna watch Shark Tank or something. Something like that. I forgot my painting. Frick. Speaking, I have so much fun doing it. I have a good time. I just like making people laugh. I like interacting with people in a way that the everyday studio life doesn't, you know, work. So I don't get to have all that. Ooh, super blurry. This is a good shot. But, you know what?
I swear I don't fear no man. I got beef with the dog, and I see what you are. Even the heart, so I'm bleeding the art. Don't believe in the bar, but I'm leaving the bar. So they need to be all y'all needing a jar, but I'm free with the spark. Cause it's easy to call you a creep or a fraud. So I'm seeing with y'all, don't need you to start. You ain't reaching them all. Get the keys to the car. You can leave with your part. Hold up,
that's
that
it.
ain't commercial.
That's all I have for you. This is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be a hefty edit.